Hello, this is Anna from TQ. Today we'll be building XML importer service, and I wanted to be able to import XML both from URL and from the workspace with the given file path. This is the XSD schema we'll be working with. It's coming from the Microsoft page, and for that schema we also have the XML, and that XML was exposed under this particular URL. I imported those XML and XSD to my workspace. Let's convert this XSD into RDF schema. We'll take the XSD, click on the import, and under TopBraid Composer we select import XML schemas. Then we need to add our XSD. We need to select that, and once it's done we click finish. We can see that extra file was generated. It's called books.ttl. When we open it, we can see that it has the prefix namespace, and also all the classes and properties were created from our XSD. Once we have it, right now, let's maybe rename it so it's more meaningful for us. It's a schema, it's a books schema in the turtle format. And right now, let's use it for our XML. We can open our XML as a semantic XML document. Since we have the schema, we click yes. We select our newly created books schema. And right now we can see that there is a file created which actually stores all of the instances of catalog books and the catalogs itself. This is still under books.xml, so we need to first save that as a TTL file. In this case, it's actually booksdata.ttl. In the meantime, offline, I also changed the base URI to follow HTTP instead of the file path, and I also right now changed the default namespace into the namespace that has prefix. That's the sort of data I want to achieve when I will be importing it through the service. In order to do the import, we will have to use a certain module, which is a Sparkle Motion module for importing something from URL. To do so, we will need to create a separate file, which is called Sparkle Motion file. That file will get the meaningful name. In our case, I'll call it importer functions. And the reason for that is that the type of script I will create will be, in fact, a function that could be reused in our SWP. So once we did that, let's create new Sparkle Motion function. I'll give it a name. So in this case, it will be import XML from URL. The return module in my case will be the return node because I'll be returning the XML. And I also need to bring the argument with the URL. So as you can see, I'll create a predicate with the string value. And in our case right now, let's add the default value because we'll be testing based on this particular type of import. We can add the comment if you wanted to, but in this case I'll omit it. Once all of it is filled, we have an argument, return, and the name. We can click OK. So as I said, we need to use a specific module which is called import XML from URL. I won't create any specific name for it. We connect modules with the arrows. Then there is a certain pipeline that will be working. In our case, we already have a URL, but notice that there is a username and password. So in case you needed to access XMLs that are under authentication, it's also possible to do that. That XML would need to be later on bound, because right now what we only have the XML that needs to become a specific literal variable. So the output variable in our case will be a doc, and the template will be a variable called XML. All right, so with all of that, we see that the XML is being passed into the next step, and let's try to debug it. So what we can see here, we actually have the default value argument. There is a pop-up window which we can fill in. We see that this is the URL. After running that import XML from URL, we get the XML being passed. We can see it at the bottom. It's right here. We got what we needed. I want to hide this pop-up window because I won't need it actually in the future SWP. I can also specify that this argument is optional, but we won't be doing that. And actually there is one more thing which I want to change. So since we know it's working, I will remove the default value from here because I want to reuse this function later on in SWP. Let's create a new SWP file. A new SWP file will be our proper XML importer. So we'll name it import XML, and I also change a little bit the file name. All right, whenever we create a new service, it needs to be a subclass of UI services. And UI services is under UI node. So we create a new subclass and we will call it XML service, because in fact this is what we do. And once it's done, we will be filling in the UI prototype. But before we do that, we need to bring the argument with our URL, right? So we need XML URL, which we'll be passing with our call, and it will be passed as a string for now. With the prototype, let's just see whether we can see that URL. So let's just pass it as HTML. So it will be a header, and we are passing the argument the following way. So it's curly brace with equals as well, I forget about that. And then since it's HTML tag, so we'll use a response type called HTML. Right now, let's take the class name and let's go into a browser. We want to call SWP, but we want to view a class in this particular case, which is called like that. And I also want to add the XML URL argument, which is the whole URL coming from here. Let's click enter and we see that our value is being passed. All right, so everything works correct. Okay, let's build a proper prototype. We created a Sparkle Motion function. We will pass it as an argument, right? So there will be import XML from URL. That variable is calling a function. In order to be able to see this function here, I had to bring it as an import into my SWP. So notice that it's being here. That function takes one argument, and in our case, this argument is a constraints argument. In order to see the result, I need to parse that string into the XML. This is how we do that. And let's see how it works. Nothing really happens, and the reason for that is most probably because I haven't refreshed TopBraid system registries once I created Sparkle Motion function. So let's go back to TopBraid Composer and let's click on Refresh TopBraid System Registries. Actually, when we look at the return, we see that the document is not being passed into the return mode. So I need to create an expression to fix that. So we are passing the document. And from now on, the document is being passed into our return. I also won't need our tag because we know it works. And let's refresh the page. Okay, so we see our XML. It looks like HTML because the return type is HTML in our case. But at least we know it works. So let's continue. What we want to do, we want to make sure that this particular string is being saved into a file. We do that with the export to text file module that allows us to replace the existing file if it was already there. We have to specify the target file path where it's being passed. So in this case, I'm actually right now writing a variable, an argument, which I will later on add. And our text, which we are passing, it's XML from URL. Once we have this file, let's create target file path argument. In our case, I want to bring in everything into custom importers topbraidlive.org, and I want my file to be named xml from url.xml. The reason why we did that is because I wanted to make sure that if something happens with the service itself, the file will be saved. What we would do right now, we will import that text from file. In our case, the output variable will be XML, and the source file path is our target file path. We will actually put another things inside of it because I want to have access to the XML output variable. So once we import our XML, I want to be able to use the schema. So I set the context with a query graph pointing to our schema. We'll specify it later on. And within that context, so again, we will have to wrap yet another module in the context. Within that context, I want to use the real module that actually does the conversion. So we'll convert XML to RDF. In that case, we need to specify the base URI of the triples, so the namespace will be correctly built. And also I want to make sure that whenever there is already a graph like that, I'll replace its contents with whatever new is being done. And the XML that is being passed is in fact our XML coming from the previous module. That's why we nested it. Once we have it done, it would be good to bring in the schema graph and base URI. So I create yet another variable called schema graph, and in our case it will be base URI of the schema graph. So let's take our book schema and place it here. What is more, I also make it a URI, that's why I use Sparkle function to do so. What is more, I want to make sure that the schema graph is being brought with all its imports. Another variable which I want to add is the variable called base URI, and in this particular case we expect a string representing the base URI of a newly built graph. In this case I'll just name it example.org test XML import. Alright, with all of that, we also need to make sure that those triples will be saved somewhere, right? So we will do the update, UI update, and in the update we'll be inserting SPO into a specific graph. What graph? We will be using your temp graph. It's a special graph that allows us to store the triples in a graph that lives temporarily only during the time of our service work. So what we could do with it right now, instead of parsing it on a screen, we can dump that graph into a file. So what we would do now is to use yet another module, which is called UI dump. We'll specify the file path and the graph. So the graph in our case is the temporal graph, which we just created, and drop the triples into it. And the file path is very similar to the target file path. So it's custom importers.topbraid/test.ttl. One last thing which we need to do, we need to go into preferences and activate the debug mode, which is under SWP under TopBraid Composer. This way we'll be able to use dump graph capability. Alright, so I also want to add a comment, because as I said, we want to do two different types of imports happening, either from URL or from the workspace. So in this particular case, you want to have a condition that if the XML URL is bound, we want to do this particular code. And in case we have an argument representing our workspace XML, let's call it in this particular case XML from workspace. Again, I'll add the comment to know what it represents. Alright, so let's fix the top comment. Okay, since we created XML from workspace argument, we need to define it actually. So let's add yet another argument, XML from workspace, and this will be in our case again a string. And actually notice that our XML from workspace started from capital letters, so we'll need to fix it here. Okay, once we have it done, let's run our service. So we see that the service is running. But it does not produce anything, which is actually not true because the test XML was created. But in order to have some indication that something was done, let's add the comment here. So let's say that the import was successful. Actually, sorry for the typo. Also want to add UI try and catch because we are just testing things and some things can go wrong. So I want to make sure that we will be able to at least get some indication that something is wrong. Alright, refresh. So for now we see the import was successful. We see that there is a test XML and XML from URL created, filled in with both XML and the turtle version of our XML. Let's see that. So this is a dump of our temp graph. This is an ontology, and here are our instances. What I want to add, I want to make sure that we'll leave only our instances. But before we do that, we also know that we want to do something similar for our case when we'll be importing from the workspace. So that part of the code is something that we can reuse. But instead of a target file path, in this case, I want to have my XML from workspace. Yes, the rest should be fine. What I also want to do, I want to make sure that we will set the second argument as optional, and we will also add a commentary that in this particular case we expect not the XML itself but the path, file path to that XML. One last thing I want to do, I want to make sure that I'll filter only the triples which we just created, so all of the other things are not being saved in our temporal graph. So I want to make sure that the namespace of our subject triple is following exactly that particular namespace which we just copied. When we refresh that, let's see our new test file, and we see that in fact we have only the triples that are coming from our XML. Alright, let's go back to our SWP file. So we know that this case works. Let's grab the filter, reuse it here. What we would do now, we'll test the second case. So instead of bringing XML from URL, I want to have XML from workspace. Right now, when the service runs, notice that actually we got an error. If we scroll down and see the details of that error, we see that there is a missing value for the URL. And in fact, the URL is something that we used in our Sparkle Motion script. So let's go back here. It's something that was happening here. So where do we call it? We actually call it right here when we call the function. So we just don't have the URL argument that is being passed into this function. So what I want to do an if statement and check the XML URL is being bound. So let's do that right now. With that fixed, let's rerun our service. And notice that the error is gone. And again, we had our test created. Let's see it. Yes, the triples are there, so everything is correct. This way we created a service, a web service that is doing the transformation of XML into RDF with a given schema. But I don't want to see the message on the screen. I actually, in fact, want my triples to be seen as a result of that working example. So let's remove try and catch for now and all of that information of whether something was successful or not. And what I want to do, I will be returning the triples, and I want to return the triples that are coming from my temporal graph. So I set the context to temp graph. Within that context, I'll use yet another model which is called UI return, which will allow us to return the triples. But since we are using UI return, we will need to change the response to turtle and also move our service from UI services to turtle services. Let's refresh the registries to make sure that everything is up to date. And after that, let's rerun our service again. Notice that in this particular case, we get the file that we can open. And here is how the file looks like. In fact, we have all of the triples being saved. Overall, this is the base for this sort of service. This is how it could look like. We could do way more. We could clean up the code. We could change the filters. We could do a couple of other smaller things to make it prettier. But overall, you can see how it can be done. So this is it. This is how the XML importer service should look like. There are some improvements, of course, that could be done, but this is just a working skeleton for you to show how it can be done. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to contact us, and please also visit our page. There is more information about that on our page. Thank you for watching.